acne for 15 years, and by the end, all any dermatologist ever offered me was Accutane, and I could never do it. And here's why I don't think you should necessarily go on that second round. Let's discuss. Hi there, my name is Therese, and I struggled with really bad acne for 15 years, believe it or not. This is my skin now. I healed it naturally with food, and I created a natural acne clearing program called the Clear Code to help you do the same. If you're interested in learning more or to apply to the program, click the link below, and I would love to see if it's a good fit for you. And make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. I'm gonna start this video with a caveat, and I'm gonna say, if you have severely cystic acne, like we're talking 10 to 20 seriously cystic acne breakouts, and you have tried absolutely everything and you're being offered Accutane, listen, I'm not a doctor, so I definitely can't advise you medically, but I think Accutane can be a really helpful stopgap for you. I do. I think it can be something that can help you in the meantime while you're also addressing other things. So this is not medical advice, and I also don't know your skin situation. But in my experience, I was routinely offered Accutane, right? And I had maybe like I had acne, right? And I had different types of acne over the years, and definitely enough to make me do what I do now, which is help other people heal their acne naturally. But I didn't have, 20 to 25 cystic breakouts on my face at all times. And so it was always wild to me that doctors recommended Accutane when it was such a serious drug with such serious side effects for I had what I considered moderate acne, right? For severe acne, I think it's a different issue. But for moderate acne, I think Accutane, quite frankly, is just I don't want to say it. It's just I don't agree. My main problem with Accutane is that when you use it, I'd say 50% of the clients that I work with, their acne comes back. Maybe not immediately, it usually takes 6 to 12 months, but I would say at least half of my thousands of clients have taken at least one round of Accutane, and they're considering a second round. And it's such a strong drug, and if you have mild to moderate acne, there's so many other ways you can address it. Let's go over how Accutane works, and really it works by shrinking your oil glands and normalizing the way your skin grows, which can kind of prevent pimples, clogged pores, all the things. Your lips, for example, that being said, have a ton of oil glands, so they get really dry. There's so many kind of side effects that come from Accutane. The mood side effects were always the ones that scared me the most, to be honest. I was always super petrified of some of the studies that I read wherein they talked about how there were mental health issues associated with Accutane. Again, for severe acne, I think it is an appropriate stopgap measure. But if you have mild to moderate acne, there are so many other things we can do. On that note, let's go over the 4 conditions at the pore that create acne that we can adjust and address naturally without something like Accutane. For you to break out, you need to have these 4 conditions, okay? You need to have too many skin cells at your pore, too much oil at the pore, and then you have skin cells that aren't sloughing off. So basically, our skin is constantly going through this process called desquamation, right? So it's like this top layer of skin cells that are sloughing off. It's kind of gross, but if you looked around your apartment right now with I don't know, some type of light that could see skin cells, they would be everywhere. It's really gross. But basically that process is also kind of impaired, and then P. acnes gets into the pore and causes an infection to form. That's what a breakout is. So in all of my years of working with people with acne and also trying to heal my acne for a long time before I finally cleared it naturally, I never knew about these 4 conditions, right? And so when I finally got clear on these 4 conditions at the pore, and then I started to do way more research about what led to those 4 conditions at the pore. So too many skin cells, too much oil, and then skin cells not sloughing off correctly. I started to realize that there were so many links between your nutrition, your diet, your gut health, blood sugar management, hormonal balancing that impacted those conditions at the pore. And then when you address those, you could clear your acne naturally. With a drug like Accutane, in my opinion, you're only addressing one of those challenges, and you kind of rely on the drug to keep your skin clear. And it's not a drug that you can rely on. You can't take it when you're pregnant. You can't take it for long, long periods of time. And so for me, my goal has always been to impact those 4 conditions at the pore, rather 3. And let's discuss why we can only impact 3. A lot of the common acne treatments that exist in the world, right, are focused, I'd say, primarily on the P. acnes issue and the desquamation issue. So those like 2 conditions, right? A lot of the topical products that we use, so clindamycin, benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, those all try to target the bacteria at the pore, the P. acnes, right? And to kill the bacteria. Doxycycline too, so oral antibiotics, those impact that like bacterial part of the process, which, listen, I don't think is bad. The issue is that we're never not going to have bacteria everywhere. We have yeast, fungus, bacteria, we have like little mites. It's just, it's not disgusting, I guess, but like we all constantly have bacteria everywhere. I can guarantee you right now that I have bacteria at the pore level, but I don't have those 3 other situations at the pore. I don't have too many skin cells. My skin cells are sloughing off the way that they should, and I don't have too much oil. So in all of my work, we focus on addressing those 3 conditions first, and then once those are taken care of, the P. acnes can't get into this overly crowded, overly oily pore and cause a breakout. For our purposes today, let's talk about the big 3. And those big 3 that impact conditions at the pore are blood sugar management, gut health, and hormonal balancing. When I went down my rabbit hole of clearing my acne naturally and I started my journey, one of the biggest things that I found that was kind of like kismet in terms of figuring out what was happening for me and my skin was that blood sugar management and your acne are deeply, deeply linked. I found quite a few studies that linked insulin levels with acne. This really spoke to me because I had a high instance of diabetes in my family, especially diabetes type 2, which is insulin resistance. Ultimately, basically, your cells over time, because you're consuming a really high sugar diet and you're genetically predisposed to something like diabetes, your cells over time become resistant to the impact of insulin, right? So your body needs to pump out more. The more insulin you have running around, the more insulin growth factor 1, which directly increases the amount of skin cells at the pore. So I realized I have a crazy sweet tooth, I will tell you. And I realized that a lower glycemic diet was probably going to positively impact my skin a ton. I, like I mentioned, have a crazy sweet tooth. So the thought of like never having an Oreo again or never having cookies or cakes, I mean, that wasn't gonna work. I didn't want it to work. Life is too short to not have a cupcake. So I took a really big look at my diet and I said to myself, okay, I'm never not gonna eat sugar. I'm never not gonna eat donuts. It's just not gonna happen. It's also not realistic. Like, I'm human, I want some donuts, right? So I said, okay, at the time, right? How can I create better habits as they relate to blood sugar management, and how can I create them in a way that I can sustain long term? So what I did was I defined kind of, you hear me talk about this a lot if you have been watching me for a while, but I defined like my must-haves when it came to food and enjoying my life. Everyone wants to be healthy, but there is a point at which health becomes miserable and too extreme, and I won't go there. I don't think anyone else should go there. Have the cookie. When I looked at my family history of diabetes, when I looked at the type of life that I want to live, the type of health that I wanted to have, right? I defined that meant that 90% of the time for me, I wanted my blood sugar to be really balanced. And here's how that impacts insulin. When you have these really big spikes and falls of glucose, so you have a diet really high in sugar, you are going to experience spikes and falls of insulin. And that's not good because it's basically just going to like raise your insulin levels over time. I knew that that would lead to insulin resistance, which would lead to diabetes type 2. And I am 40% more likely to develop that just because of my family history. So I said to myself, okay, the best life for me looks like really balanced blood glucose levels throughout the day, 90% of the time. And then I really want a freaking donut every now and then. I have a favorite type of donut. It is from this store. I will share a picture of it. It's beautiful. So cool. Donuts had to be part of my life plan, AKA my clear code. Next food that I absolutely love, that I didn't care if it spiked my blood sugar or not, but I wanted to have into my like daily nutritional plan was pizza. Freaking love pizza. It's my deepest joy. So I said, okay, the rest of the time I really want to have a balanced lifestyle, and I want to support my clients to do that too. But these are like my must-haves to enjoy my life. So that became part of my clear code, and that's definitely what we do in my acne clearing program, the clear code. We define kind of these really specific things that you love to have in your life that make you feel nourished, no matter how they impact your blood glucose levels. But then the rest, 80-90% of the time, we keep you really balanced with recipes that you really like and enjoy and that keep you steady. Because here's the thing too, when you're having these huge spikes and falls of blood sugar throughout the day, you don't feel good. I remember I would do this all the time when I came to New York City. I would have a huge bagel, like an egg bagel with cream cheese and orange juice. And within, I mean, you could mark your freaking clock by it. Within an hour and a half of eating that, I was starving and I was exhausted because you have a big blood sugar spike and then you fall because your body releases insulin, doesn't want you to get too low. And so those types of things from a blood sugar perspective aren't sustainable anyways. They don't make you feel good anyways, right? So everything that we do in terms of what I help clients do is focus on blood sugar management. The reason this relates back to the initial point I made, too many skin cells at the pore, is once I decided to make some of these changes, I defined like 2 to 3 things a week that I just love having. They're really great experiences. And then the rest of the time I'm having pineapple and mangoes and berries instead of things like candy that I used to really like. When I shifted from a higher glycemic diet to a lower glycemic diet, everything really started to change. My skin calmed considerably within 10 to 14 days. And this is something that's available to you too. Again, if you have mild to moderate acne and you know that Accutane isn't the answer, take action on some of the things that I'm talking about today and or apply to my acne clearing program, the Clear Code, and you can kind of get started on some of these on your own. You don't have to take such a serious, heavy drug. The second action step that I took was I really focused on healing my gut. So I did a ton of research, and there were these 2 doctors, I talk about them all the time, John H. Stokes and Donald M. Pillsbury, who proposed years ago that Lactobacillus acidophilus cultures could positively impact every aspect of your body. They basically linked gut health with overall health. And then their research got buried, which is silly and wild. But reading those research papers and then, going further down the rabbit hole and looking at my own gut health history, I realized that I had spent the majority of my life generally constipated, on doxycycline, and miserable. And once I read more about the link between gut health and your acne, it totally transformed my world. So I set out to heal my gut. Fun fact, we have 3 pounds of bacteria from here to the other end, right? And most of that bacteria should be beneficial bacteria, not opportunistic. And you should also go to the bathroom 3 times a day, honestly. You should really go to the bathroom after every large meal. And I was maybe going once every 2 to 3 days. Constipation is a huge thing that I see with a lot of my clients. So if you're constipated, definitely take some of these action steps that I'm about to mention. They can absolutely help you. I started taking probiotics. I had never really taken them before. My poor mom had always told me to take probiotics, and I just ignored her and thought it was wacky advice. And of course it was great advice. And I started adding in fermented foods. So things like kimchi, kombucha, yogurt, but non-dairy yogurt. So you want live active cultures, and oh my gosh, my whole gut life just absolutely transformed. And again, it positively impacted my skin in a serious way. The third big action step that I took that you can take, that you can think about taking instead of going on something like Accutane, is to focus on hormonal balancing. Now, everyone is very unique. In my program, I really believe that natural acne clearing is like a 50-50 part equation. 50% of the equation is the fundamentals of clear skin that apply to everyone. So what I'm talking about right now, so blood sugar management, gut health, hormonal balancing. Then 50% of the equation is unique to you and your skin, your body, your history, your genetic makeup, your topical routines, your supplement, your age, your stage of life. There is no one size fits all acne clearing equation. And I think that's important to note too when you think about getting help from someone or help from even an online program. If there's a one size fits all equation, it's probably maybe not going to be the best thing for you. That's probably a little controversial, but for example, let's say I wanted to go to the gym and I really wanted to accomplish certain goals, and I just like downloaded an ebook that was meant for someone 10 years younger who was in a completely different stage of life, different activity levels, different weight. Like, when you have customized and personalized focused help based on your unique challenges, everything can shift in a really significant way. So, full circle to say, what I did for my hormones is probably going to be different for what you need to do for yours, and that's okay. For me, hormonally, I had been kind of on this like wild blood sugar ride for a long time, so that wasn't good. I had been on and off the birth control pill for a long time, which impacted my mood, my sleep patterns, everything. And so I definitely was dealing with some estrogen dominance. So like I felt puffy, I had bad PMS, my periods were like a little funky sometimes. And so I really focused in on like liver detoxification. So estrogen dominance was like kind of my primary challenge with my hormones. And I focused on eating cruciferous vegetables. I drank dandelion tea religiously every night. I talk about it all the time because it's an herbal cholagogue and it helps bile flow from your liver. It's one of my favorite things ever. And I drank a ton of water along with this. I know that sounds like a simple like action step, but I swear to you, the more water I drink, the better my life is. And that is not an exaggeration. So those are the action steps that I took from a hormonal perspective that really positively impacted my skin. Now, caveat, I cleared my acne naturally. I had really bad acne for 15 years. And then after a horrible dermatologist appointment, I said, you know what? This is the last straw. At the dermatologist appointment, they sat there and they said over and over again, I know what else to tell you, you've tried everything. I know what else to tell you, you've tried everything. And I said, you know what? You're right. I have tried everything. I've tried everything but my food. I've been asking y'all for 15 years if it's my nutritional plan. Y'all have been saying no. And you're lying. No, you're not lying, but you're just not informed. I went home, I put together a plan to clear my acne naturally, and I cleared it in 30 days. That's a unique situation. Doesn't happen like that for everyone. My acne clearing program is 8 weeks long. Some clients take 4 to 6 weeks, some take 8 to 10, some even take 12 to 16, depending on the severity of their acne. But it is absolutely possible to heal your acne naturally without Accutane. So I just wanted to share, this is kind of like a little bit different from some of my other videos where I get like super scientific. I wanted to share my experience. I also, again, know that if you're watching this, you're probably considering your second or third round of Accutane, and it's a serious drug. And listen, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice, but I just wanted you to know that if you have mild to moderate acne and you feel like in your gut there's something else happening and that you don't think that Accutane is the action step for you, I'd love to know what you think about this video, and or I'd love to see if I could help you heal your acne naturally via my acne clearing program, the Clear Code. So you can apply to that via the link below. It's an application only program. Everyone needs something very specific and everyone's body is a little different, and making sure that what I do is going to dramatically and positively impact your life for the rest of your life is my goal. Also, we have a private Facebook group with other people struggling with skin challenges as well. So if you'd like to join us there, find the link below for that too. I hope you liked this video and I hope it was helpful. Again, it's a little bit different from some of the other videos, but if you have questions for me about my natural acne clearing journey, about what it takes to heal your acne naturally, leave them below this video. I will respond to each and every one of them, and make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified. And if you know someone who's struggling with their skin, if they have questions about their acne, if they're wondering, should I go on that second round of X, Y, and Z, or should I start the hormonal birth control pill again? Please feel free to send them this video and let them know that there are alternatives. Bye.